I explained to Heather what I'm doing at the weekend, so put me shorts on my t-shirt and digging holes.
Oh, lovely. Sounds amazing.
Come round and do ours all.
Right, we ready then, Millie? Action.
Every prompt you send to a public AI tool could be leaking your company's data. One manufacturer fixed that, slashing picking and part errors within 3 months by running their AI fully on-prem. No tokens, no outside access. Full control, department by department. If data sovereignty isn't part of your AI strategy yet, it needs to be. Let's dive in.
Hi, I'm Ray Quattromini from Fortuna Data. Welcome to another episode of Smarter Strategic Thinking. Today we have Nipa Soni from FSAS Technologies.
Hi,
Nice to
good
meet
see
you.
you.
Thank you. Nipa, what is your role within FSAS Technologies?
I'm responsible for AI and HPC enablement across FSAS Technologies in the UK. Working with our sales staff, but also more importantly, being in front of customers, understanding their needs, understanding their business challenges and bringing that to life, whether that's within AI, whether that's within HPC, trying to understand and really feel customer pain points and bringing solutions to the table that's going to help them work better, smarter, more efficiently and help deliver their ROIs. That's in a nutshell what I do.
How long have you been in IT and where did you start?
Worked my way through the industry, working at several distributors, manufacturers. Always worked, for the large majority of my career, I worked with reseller partners and end customers, and then of recent, the last 7 or 8 years, it's more with end customers directly.
Private GPT. FSAS have built an on-premise private GPT solution. Why did they do that?
So a number of different factors came into this. So one, there was definite need in the market for something that was private, secure, and that is in line with government's regulations and rules. There is a lot of organisations out there which are like a GPT solution, which are in the cloud, accessible to everybody. But the question is, how secure really is that? Your data, any organisation's data, is absolutely key to what they do. Without the data, you effectively don't have a business. Why would you not want to protect that at every single layer? And especially with AI, protecting your data, having the control and having that security element with your data and with your AI solutions is really, really key.
How does it differ from an on-prem solution to a Claude, an OpenAI, a DeepSeek? What makes it different?
So a number of different things. So, we can talk about all the tokens and versus no tokens, but outside of that, this is a fully on-prem solution. All the data, all the prompts, all the information that's provided stays within that customer's environment, giving you that full control of security and flexibility, not having to pay for things that you don't need, customizing a solution that is tailored to your business needs.
You mentioned tokens.
Yeah.
Every AI command that goes to a Claude, for example, you pay for a bunch of tokens. But are you saying that your private GPT solution, you don't need that?
I'm absolutely saying that. We do not need tokens. We don't go down the token route. You have a license for a number of users, and that is it. There's no tokens involved. You can use it to your heart's content, as much or as little as you like. And we appreciate that certain departments within an organisation will use a private GPT solution a lot more than others. So giving them that opportunity to use it freely without having to be restricted with tokens and the costs implicated with that.
Can you explain what it provides to a customer and what a typical customer would look like? And in particular, you've mentioned about privacy. How is that secured? Is it that they put it in a room and put a Faraday cage around it? Or, I don't know.
Security comes at the heart and the foundation of everything we do. Everything on-prem, data sovereignty, it's no longer just a buzzword. It is the foundation of what customers need when they're looking at AI solutions. And that's what we build from scratch. So everything we do has got data sovereignty, security, governance and protection in mind. Everything we do is on-prem. What it gives customers and what it can do is, imagine you have very document-heavy processes. Those can be automated with private GPT. Imagine being able to talk to your own data, not having access to the outside world where hallucinations may ramp up because it's essentially the wrong or false or incorrect information or outdated information. This private GPT will talk to your data that you implement into the system, and you're able to have a full-on conversation with your data. Automating that process, making things a lot easier, streamlining document-heavy terms, mundane tasks as well. And we all have them in our whatever job role you're in. We all have mundane tasks. take that element away and let's bring some fun back into work, we can actually absolutely help with that.
It's your own proprietary information that you feed in.
Correct.
So you're not getting any erroneous sources of data and injection into your code or whatever you're trying to do.
Exactly.
So this solution is completely customizable. It's not off the shelf. What does a typical build and delivery time look like? And who owns the IP?
100% it's customizable. So we start off with almost out of the box type solution where you've got the basics of a private GPT. From there, we tweak, tailor, customize to whatever the customer needs. Start off with a workshop. And the reason for this workshop is we are then able to define and figure out a specific use case for those customers. So how it works is there are stakeholders from within the business that we set up with representations from FSAS Technologies. So whether that's a consultant, an AI expert, a mathematician, a scientist, whatever it might be that you need on that day. From there, we let customers effectively talk to their own data. We give them access to a private GPT model where we've already pre-uploaded their own data and they get to see it hands-on. And that's when we bring it to life. In this workshop, call it an ideation, whatever we need to, that's where we bring this to life and they can see, actually, this would help me in so many different areas. And then from there, we talk about, okay, well, what are the specific challenges within each of these departments? And typically, if you have 15 stakeholders within a room, you'll probably get about 30 to 60 different challenges that they all come up with. I need it for this, I need it for this. And of course, realistically, you're not going to do 50 or 60 challenges. So we figure out one or two that are very, very specific and that may actually benefit several different departments. And then we go from there. And that process typically takes a week or two. So the ideation's a day workshop, and then the follow-up after that is about a week, which gives us the opportunity to review and come back to you with effectively a report to say, this is what we found out, this is where we're going to go next. The customer owns the instance in their environment. We own the original IP, but the customer does with it whatever they wish to do. And the reason for that is, one, we want to make sure that the customer has full control over their data, over their environment. Everything stays on-prem, stays with them. We don't access it. The reason we own the IP is because of the back-end side of things. And what I mean by that is the support pack and maintenance. And via the support pack is how the customers get the additional features. So as we develop our private GPT, the customer that's already got one in place in situ will then automatically receive those additional feature updates and upgrades. And that's the reason.
A workshop starting at £2,500 for initial workshop. What does that deliver as an output, and how is it a controlled environment, and what does the customer need from a commercial engagement process? And finally, if somebody says, I want to go on this, how quickly can that service be delivered or that workshop start?
The initial workshop is £2,500. It's usually either half a day or a day, depending on the number of stakeholders you bring to that workshop from the customer's point of view. We will then engage our either data scientists, mathematicians, our AI consultants and experts to that workshop. Typically, within a week and a half to 2 weeks, the customer will then receive a full-on report as to our findings and our suggestions and then potential next steps. That's all included in that £2,500 initial upfront cost. And then from there, if the customer wanted to go down a POC route and investigate a particular use case further, there's no additional cost to that right the way up until we get to POC. And it's just after the POC, if the customer's absolutely satisfied that this POC does exactly what we've planned out for it to do, meets all their objectives and goals, then we move forward with a quotation. I think with AI, there's a lot of options out there. Doing it this way, one, it's commitment from both organisations, but also it's almost that proof in the pudding. So, we have the expertise, we have the knowledge. Let us show you first our capabilities and then you decide if you want to go forward. And it's just a small cost at the beginning. AI models, consultations can ramp up very, very quickly. That's not what we're trying to achieve here.
So somebody's interested in the workshop. What is the time frame to deliver an inquiry to actually engaging with that workshop?
So initially, we'd have a conversation with the customer. We'd understand what they're trying to do. And it's okay if they don't know, because a lot of customers want AI, know they need AI, not quite sure what to do with it. That's where we come in and can help. We have an initial conversation to gauge your basic ideas, your basic requirements. From there, I would probably need about a fortnight to gather all our experts together, make sure we have the right people in the room with the customer. So roughly about 2 weeks, from phone call to workshop is probably about right.
Our concern is data leakage. How do you ensure customer data doesn't leave that environment and isn't fed into a public cloud model?
So it's a really good question, and data leakage is a concern to many organisations that I speak to. The architecture is what prevents the data leakage. So right from the very beginning, everything we design has got data sovereignty in mind. That's the fundamental thing that we do. The data that is generated, uploaded into our private GPT model stays with the customer. It has no outside access to the internet. And also as well, when we look further around, let's say a customer purchases a solution, they're happy with it. When we have our updates, because AI changes very, very rapidly. So let's say a customer purchased a Private GPT 1.5 version, and within 3 months of implementation, there is a 1.6 version. The customer will receive all of those features at no additional cost and no additional access from us. It's just done via a link. They can download and then they upload it. So again, even with the new features, there are no data leakages. The customer has full control.
So if a customer, for example, is scanning PDFs and they're indexing PDFs and doing everything else, and then 6 months down the line, somebody comes along and they want to do X, Y, Z, what's the process for that?
Please let us know is the first instance. Let's have that conversation. You would be appointed certain members of our AI team anyway to your project. You'd already have the contact. So get in touch with us. Let us know what you're looking for. It may be that it's already on the existing roadmap, and we can absolutely share that with you, whether it's 12, 18 or 24 months roadmap. And as you can appreciate, these things move very, very quickly in AI. However, if it's not on our roadmap and it's something that is specific to a customer that they absolutely want to have, again, it's not off the table. Let's have a conversation. If we can build and tailor something to you, we absolutely will look at that.
Nipa, how does your solution integrate with existing platforms? Specifically, is there a link with Maximo, IBM's asset management platform, or is it a completely standalone solution, or has it got any plugins or APIs that a user can use?
So it definitely has API options and also MCP options as well. So if a customer wants it to plug into certain applications, we can look at that. In terms of Maximo specifically, this is where the workshop comes in. This is where we would work with the customer to investigate exactly what tools they use and then work around a solution for that and integrate that at POC level to make sure the testing's done and it's all working smoothly and efficiently.
Okay. We have customers that aren't technical. How does the interface and ongoing administration work for non-technical users, and what is their experience? What would they see?
The interface that we use is super easy. I love it. I find it so simple to use. Imagine talking to a chatbot.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same type of feel to it. It's really easy. And also with the administration part, which lays obviously with the technical side of the business, they have the opportunity to preload certain prompts for certain departments. So, if you're in HR, you might use certain prompts versus somebody in finance or sales or marketing. Those prompts can be pre-uploaded to make life easier for specific departments, or they can create their own. So it's very, very intuitive. It's very simple to use. You can do a lot of the pre-work ahead of time if needed. And also there's training involved. Okay, so partnering with the likes of FSAS Technologies, we do offer training to our customers. So whether that's technical training or whether that's actually the use of the private GPT itself to non-technical users, that training and support is available.
So is it a browser window that they would get, or can it be built into an application? You
receive a link, you log it, you save it into your favourites, you log into your private GPT, and it's just like talking to the internet, but with your own data.
Nipa, what does the API and development layer look like from a customer that wants to integrate and develop their own applications moving forward?
Private GPT is customizable to a certain level. It has the ability to add APIs and also MCP. That said, if the customer wants to further develop it then almost moves into a slightly different solution. That's when we start looking at the enterprise world. That's when we start looking into the likes of using Takane or Cohere as opposed to something like Mistral. So it is available to do. It just depends on what the customer's trying to achieve and what that kind of 1, 2, 3-year plan looks like for the customer. And I'm going to bring it back to that workshop again. This is why we have that workshop, is to really understand the customer's goals, their business ideas, their desired outcomes, and the ROI it's going to deliver today and also in the future. So we can start working with the customer on that journey. So where private GPT may well be the answer today for certain use cases, we can also alongside that work with customers on further developing additional AI solutions for them.
What are the ethics and governance controls built into the platform, especially relevant if we're developing this in an education or a regulated industry?
So private GPT is built with ethics and governance from the ground up. It's as simple as that. Because it runs fully on-prem, it remains under the control of the customer, ensuring privacy, security, compliance, and regulatory standards, especially in education environments. And something else that we do, and this one's quite close to me because as I mentioned, I work in enablement, bringing things to life and making things happen for customers. Ethics within education was such a strong topic. We had to do something with it, and we did. So as an organisation, we believe in giving back into the community. We believe in social values and that social impact that we as a business, as a technology company, can have to our local and wider communities. And one of the things that I looked at was delivering the ethics of AI into education. So yes, we can do that from a technical standpoint, and private GPT absolutely ticks those boxes, but also from a student, teacher, professor standpoint as well. AI can do whatever we want it to do as human beings. The question is, should we let it? What are the ramifications and the impact of that? And what are the societal impacts of us saying yes to an AI doing certain things? So we created a program which was aimed at first-year college students, where we take them on a journey around the ethics of AI. What's good AI? What's bad AI? Should we do something? Should we not do something? For example, we looked at, should AI be used to mark exam papers? Imagine the uproar. And there was good points and bad points to it. And in some instances, it can be a very, very good tool to use. Thing is, it always needs that human in the loop. But it's educating people, the future of tomorrow, about the ethics of AI. So not only do we embed it and build it at the core within our platforms, we actually deliver that message in different ways to give back to that societal impact.
How does private GPT silo off different departments, HR to finance, finance to marketing to sales? How does it actually create that segregation so those other departments can't tread on other people's toes?
Important, right?
Yeah.
So that's all done at the technical standpoint. So when we set up a private GPT and it's in the customer's environment, we can set the right parameters, the right rules for every single department, and we silo those off. So finance can't see what HR is doing. Sales can't see what HR is doing. You can segregate each department. You can take it even further to segregate groups of people, management, upper management, high management, CIOs, etc. You can segregate to who gets access to what information. So you can absolutely, and that's all customizable. All of that is customizable at the customer level. So whatever they want and however they want to, chop that data and who the access to that data is absolutely doable.
Yeah, because some of them might be in R&D.
Correct. Yeah.
Intellectual property, all these sorts of things. And it's, for me, that's quite important that, whilst we've got a private chat bot, we silo off different departments.
100%, yeah. It's important.
Nipa, we've mentioned a lot about private GPT. What are the use cases for the product from a customer's point of view?
Recent use case, which was a manufacturing organisation in the UK. They wanted to do something very, very specific, and that was they wanted to reduce the number of errors when sending out parts. So they wanted to make sure that they're sending the right part for the right product. Now, this manufacturer supplies various parts from various other third-party manufacturers, what they were seeing was a high error rate in the number of parts being sent out for said product. So they wanted to reduce that. They put their data in a private GPT model. They trained it, they set the parameters around it, and within about 3 months, they saw a huge reduction in the number of errors. So not just number of errors, therefore then resulting in the number of less returns coming back. So that was a really, really good, strong use case for private GPT. In Europe, however, we're seeing a lot of organisations, especially around public sector, around law firms in particular, where they've got a lot of document-heavy processes. They are utilising private GPT within those spaces. And I think a lot of the time, if you look at Europe, they are much more in line with the AI EU Regulatory Act, which is all around data sovereignty. And yeah, that's mainly the reason that we're pushing that's the reason that data sovereignty is key to us as well. You know, we are a Japanese company, but the UK work as part of the European team.
Yes.
And we are much more aligned with European acts versus, say, or US acts.
If a customer wants to go on a journey and look at private GPT, what are the next steps?
If you've heard something today that spikes your interest, let's have a conversation. Get in touch. Let's have a phone call. Let's have a Teams call, whatever it might be. Let's meet up. Let's understand your concerns. Let's talk about what you're trying to achieve. And we take it from there. It's really, really simple. We're trying to keep this as simple as possible. AI is very, very complicated and can get very complex. Talk to us. Pick up the phone. It's that simple.
Nipa, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. If you liked the video today, give us a thumbs up. If you're interested in talking about the FSAS private GPT solution, get in touch. Or you've got any questions for our next podcast, or you want to ask Nipa any questions, then thank you for your time and give us a thumbs up.